emergency occurs, you want to know that you'll be in good hands. The staff at the Bella Vista Ambulance Service has the training and experience to provide the best patient care possible and to ensure the well-being of the people we serve.
It was April 6, 2008, and well, the week before, like I was telling you, the week before we had gotten, a couple of weeks before I think, we had gotten the application in the mail, and I put it in a spot for my important papers and thought, we'll talk about this, and that sounds like a great idea, and never made it out of my planner.
You know, it was a Sunday morning, we were all getting ready to go to church. Dominic was walking around, our son Dominic, who's at the time I guess had just barely turned 2. Was toddling around the kitchen and looked up and saw a big can of mixed nuts, and he said, nuts. And
Brian, my husband, gave him, we decided he should try a cashew. Of all things, he'd had almonds the day before, and we fed him one cashew, and within a couple of minutes he started kind of wheezing and coughing and swelling just a little bit in his neck, and we're like, oh, he's choking, and we tried to give him some water, and it just was going from bad to worse, and less than 5 minutes, it got really bad.
I've realized that more than likely he was having some type of a reaction to the cashew that we had given him. We were trying to make a decision about whether to call 911 or take him to the hospital, and I told my wife that, look, if this goes bad, it's going to go bad quick. So after a frantic scramble to find cell phones or a phone, dialed 911.
For 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Station 1, standby for a medical. Station 1, Squad 1, Station 1, Squad 1, responded number 2 Rockingham Drive, referral. 2-year-old patient having an allergic reaction to a cashew. Directions are 340 west, left on West Chelsea, right on Hampton Road to the 8th left. Time out 925. I know it's going to be hard, but try to stay as calm as you can for him.
Yeah, Mom told me we're all right.
All right. Is he still breathing as bad, or is he gotten worse?
He's still conscious, but he's really struggling.
We're struggling, okay.
Okay, yeah, he is really struggling.
Okay.
They're coming, please, Sam.
Okay. I'll go and let you go then, okay?
What was that?
I'll go and let you go then so you can see them.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye-bye.
We heard the sirens off in the distance, and it seemed like a long time. Looking back on it, it was probably no more than just a couple of minutes, and they were there at our house. The paramedics started working on Dominic, trying to get an IV started, calming him down, getting oxygen started. I then got a safety briefing on following an ambulance, and that if the ambulance turned on its lights, don't speed, don't go through a red light. But if the lights turned on, that meant something was serious. About halfway to the hospital, the lights came on, and to be honest, my heart dropped. I promptly ignored the safety briefing, followed the ambulance right on their bumper through red lights and everything else. By the time we got to the hospital, it appeared to me and my wife that they had gotten things under control, but it was still a very serious situation. Throughout the entire process, the paramedics that responded were very good to not only try and keep Dominic calm, but to also make sure that my wife and I understood what was going on as well. What really touched me or seemed to kind of be really neat to me was that after we had been at the hospital for about 15 minutes, we walked out after they'd gotten our son stabilized, and the paramedics were still there, and they wanted to know that everything was all right. We are now proud members of the Bella Vista Ambulance Service, and we have encouraged all of our friends and family to make sure they are as well, so that the ambulance service can always be there to provide this valuable service to our community.
Well, the reason I first began volunteering in EMS was that there was a need for it in the community that I was in. And as I developed kind of an aptitude for it, I pursued it as a career. It's gratifying. I'm a kind of fix-it kind of guy. So when I see something wrong, I want to fix it. And in EMS, we can do that a lot of times. Is we can take something that's wrong and make it right. And it's gratifying to be able to help people in their time of need.
Any of these symptoms could be symptoms of a heart attack. If you notice one or more of these signs in yourself or others, don't wait. Call Emergency Services 911 right away.
Why EMS? I would say probably, I've done a lot of different jobs in the past, and none have fired me up to wake up in the morning and got me excited about coming into work. And even after a long day of work, none have really given me the satisfaction of knowing that my time really meant something and was invested well. So I would say probably EMS is one of those few jobs that you can really feel like you're actually breathing and accomplishing something throughout the day. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more gratifying than being able to be there for somebody when they're in their time of need. It's a real privilege to be there to help somebody as they're needed.
Vista 1, train 41, code 1, Northwest Vista County, starting mileage 0.
10-4, 1240.
Squad 1.